Hello, welcome back to the RS3. It has just stop-started, turn that off. I'd like to do 5 things that I love about the RS3. Number 1, interior. Audi do amazing interiors. I kind of forget how nice a place it is until I get in someone else's car or a different car. Like, okay, yeah, if you're getting like a Bentley or something, that's super nice. But like BMWs, Mercedes, I don't think they do as good a job as Audi. And considering you spend most of your time looking at the interior of a car, for something that's a daily driver, I think it's super important that it's nice. And they have all this funky like touch stuff. You can sort of draw it right with your finger on here if you're doing the nav. This sort of thing over here pops up and down, which is a bit of an odd one. I'm not sure I like the style of it being like that, but it's very effective and it's in the right place. Definitely having your nav up here versus down here. If you don't have nav there, you might have tried to use your phone, and if you've had your phone plugged in down there, you're doing this the whole time, which is definitely not as safe as just having it just at the bottom, or even if you have one of those heads-up displays. I don't have that, but that would be quite cool. Number 2, when you start it up, the first thing you then hear is the noise, the sound. The sound of this car and that 5-cylinder is amazing. It sounds so much better than the S3. It has a proper like warble. At the moment I'm in quiet mode. It has a few different settings. But the sound of this car it's seriously surprising. You don't expect a little pint-sized car like this to make such a good noise. And stock, I had the factory sports exhaust, but the noises it makes are amazing. Number 3, off the back of that one, is the engine. The engine in this car. The engine makes this car what it is. If fundamentally you can get this car, this interior, I don't know whether you can have the seats, but you can basically have this interior in an A3. But the difference between this and an A3 is, just obviously it's got adequate power. 360 horsepower is a lot more than you need in a sort of in a little hatchback, but it is so quick. I think the Audi say it does 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds, but magazines have done like 3.8, I think, something like that, and it feels it. If you do launch control, which is just hilarious, makes amazing sort of pop, 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 like rally car noises. If you haven't got the tyres up warm, it just spins all 4 wheels, especially like in gear changes and stuff, and which is quite amusing, but not necessarily the quickest. But once it's warmed up, it is an exceptionally fast cross-country car. You can just put the power down, and yeah, it's not the most agile. It understeers a little bit, but that it allows you to sort of push without worrying. You don't worry too much. You can just put your foot down and just go. Yeah, the engine, top notch. Number 4, how unassuming this car is. If you know, you know. But like, my car's black. Sort of long story, it was actually going to be dark blue, but anyway, it's black, as you can see. I don't have tints in the back. I don't really like rear tints. I do if I'm sitting in the back. I like tints in cars. I like the fact that if you're sitting at some traffic lights, especially if you're in a kind of a fancy car, it means, even better in a convertible, you don't feel like people are in the car with you. Because people look at nice cars and you don't really want, I don't like it when I'm worried that like people are kind of in the car. So I don't know. I like tints, but I like not having tints in these because it just sort of lowers the tone, makes it just nice and chilled out. But yeah, like if you didn't know this car was an RS3, you'd just think, oh, it's a little Audi. No, you can kind of take it anywhere. No one really, yeah, they go, it's a nice car. It's like an A3, but you wouldn't know. If you don't know, you don't know. And I like stuff like that. If you don't know, yeah. So it sort of just fits in. Great. And number 5, this is in no particular order, but number 5 is the size. I said in, I think, one of my first videos, and I got a little bit of shit in the comments for it, which is fair enough, is I said I like the RS3 because of the size. It's small. I live in London, and I've got to park it in London every day, drive it around. And if I had an RS6, which would be the other car I'd probably look at, because it's got a beastly engine. The RS6 is an absolute weapon, but it is significantly wider and longer than this car, and that makes driving around town, you've got to worry about it being a bit wider. You've got parking, and yeah, I copped a lot of flack from a couple of people in the comments when I said this, and they were like, "Oh, the only reason you haven't got an RS6 is you can't afford it." Yeah, this is a cheaper car, great, better, I think a nicer price range to drive daily, but at the same time, you know, the RS6 sort of is an option, but I just don't have the space. And this it's just pint-sized fun. It's great. This car is wicked. Absolutely love it.